Hi everybody, welcome to Cali Girl Blog Talk. I'm Callie, thank you for joining me. And today I will be reviewing Real Housewives of Potomac Season 7, Episode 3, Stand in Your Truth. So we start off right where we left off, and that's with Candace talking to Eric, one of the producers, and she's like, look, if you guys are going to malign my husband, if that's what this is about, then you don't want me here, because I'm not having it. He was like, why are you telling me? She said, because I know you know what's going on. He said, but I don't control what they say or do any more than I control what you say or do. She said, it's BS, and if you want that, Michael Darby is available for that. The ass-grabbing person who actually likes to make people feel uncomfortable. He's available for that, not my husband. The ladies, they're out, in the lobby or wherever, the seating area. So Ashley can hear Candace going off. She's like, what's going on? Why is Candace over there? Is she okay? Here come lying Gizelle. I think so. Candace can hear them chattering. She yells out, Candace is fine. Ashley is like, well, why is she over there in the corner? Here go Gizelle. Gizelle says she's talking to Eric. They're like, uh-oh, what happened? And it goes back to Candace where she's telling Eric, these women have apologized for Michael and his groping over and over and over again. And it shows headlines that appeared in the blog in the past about, Michael groping the producers. And we all saw and know what happened with that, right? Nothing. Candace said, but if Michael walked in here right now, they would embrace him, hug him, and offer him tea and crumpets. She said, but my husband, who has never given anybody a reason to feel ill of him, is now the target. You've been on this show for a while, Candace, and I guess you thought that you were exempt. But Gizelle goes after everybody's marriage every season as per her storyline. Okay? I will not be surprised if Mia and Gordon is next come next season. Candace said to the producer, help me understand. He said, I'm sure you guys have all said some things about each other. She said, yes, I've said things that were true. And as she's walking out of the room talking to him, she said, and don't cut out any of my fourth wall. I want it all. And I love to see it. Thank you. She grabs her bag and exits stage left without a word to the women, walks right past them and out the door. Wendy's sitting there bewildered. She's like, what is happening? In her confessional, Candace said, I'm just going to take my block off and I'm going to get out, because the alternative is Gizelle is going to get that rat-tat-tat-tat, gotcha, checkmate, right? So she's not going to give her the energy or the opportunity. She said, I got to do. Not today, Satan. I know that's right, girl. Put the name where it applies, baby. She continued with, not today, Satan. Not today, neck. Not today, ankles. Girl, this season is about to be a cackle. Everybody's confused while Gizelle is just sitting there putting her lip gloss on. Picking up where Candace left off, which is out the door, Wendy said, so Ashley, I talked to Peter, about the restaurant situation, and he loved the idea of a Nigerian lounge. And Sharice was like, but a restaurant, girl, you're gonna have to live in that thing. She said, but not so much, because I would only have 20% ownership. Peter would have 80%. So therefore, I don't have to be there all the time. Ashley said, so what if your relationship with Eddie starts to suffer? Because again, she's very busy, right? For example, Sharice said, are you going to Peter's grand opening tomorrow night? She's like, he invited me, but I can't make it because I have something to do. So Wendy stays booked and busy. Back to Ashley's question, what about Eddie? Wendy said, I have not downloaded him on the conversation between Peter and I. However, before I spoke to Peter and I talked to Eddie about it, he said he didn't want me doing any of it until I'm able to manage what I currently have on my plate. Not breathing any life into what Wendy is talking about, Gizelle says, so Mia, I sent you a nice text and you didn't respond. But in the text, I was very clear that the spring fling, it did go left, and I don't want us to not be in a good place. She said, because I actually like you. And Mia looked around and said, that's what I thought. Gizelle said, yeah, I do. Robin was like, why don't y'all go somewhere? Like, go somewhere else and talk about this, right? It's interesting that Robin does not want to be privy to the conversation and the shenanigans of Gizelle. This season is turning out a little interesting as far as Robin is concerned so far. So they get up and go in another room, whatever. Wendy's like, so what are we going to do? Just sit here? What's going on? Ashley was like, I'm fine with it, but I do want to say that Gizelle is sort of the one being thrown under the bus when we all shared sort of the same sentiment when it comes to Mia and that post that she made regarding the cancer scare. Wendy said, for me, I'm trying to come from a different place because I just had a friend who passed away from cancer. So I'm trying to give her, Mia, the benefit of the doubt. Robin said, I believe she's going through something. However, her message was very confusing. She said, you don't put things in a post like going to the cancer center, but then don't give the results. And it's been over a week. You had enough time after that week passed to let us know, to say, hey, these are the results, blah, 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 blah. But you said nothing. Therefore, your post was misleading. In the room, Gizelle said to Mia, have I been a little confused by your social media posts? Yes, but that's none of my business. Mia said, the challenge that I have, Gizelle, is that I didn't expect you to be the one to attack me in a group setting. I don't know why, girl. Haven't you been watching the show? Why do people think that they are exempt from Gizelle? The only person semi-exempt is Robin, unless Gizelle is on a rant running her mouth and she spills some of Robin's tea like she did last episode. Other than that, nobody is exempt from Gizelle. Anyway, Mia said, especially regarding something that's so sensitive like my health, I was surprised that it was you attacking me. And it hurt me to the core. Ooh, child, not CVJ and Mimi. You hurt me to my core. Back in the room with the ladies, Wendy said, I do want to give her the benefit of the doubt. However, there are some things that have happened since the post where you're just like, what's going on? Robin said, okay, so why is it that when we were at Karen's party, you singled out me and Gizelle? When the conversation took place, you said, well, who's saying this? You looked at me and said, who's saying this? Those two, or is it just Gizelle? Wendy said, I didn't even say your names. Robin said, you said those two. You don't have to say our names. Okay, Robin is agitated. She's aggy. Wendy's like, I don't understand all of this aggression. Robin said, there is no aggression, but I'm saying, why did you come over and single us out? Why did you say those two when you also share the same sentiment? Wendy said, we don't share the same sentiment. Okay, so let's just make that clear and put that on the record. You, Robin, said that you believe Mia is a liar. Wendy said that has nothing to do with me. And then Sharice chimes in talking about Wendy and Robin, y'all need therapy. I'm like, they do? Sharice said, you guys need to go sit down and talk to a therapist because something else is going on here. Wendy said, when I saw Mia at the spring fling, I embraced her and I asked her, are you okay? She said, however, the energy that you guys met Mia with was a lot different. And it was more so Gizelle. Robin wasn't really talking. It was all Gizelle. Back in the room with Gizelle and Mia, Gizelle was like, my delivery was horrible. Mia said it was. And I'm the type of friend to where it's, look, if you have a question, an issue or whatever with me, bring it to me. Don't go all the way around the Mayberry bush. Gizelle said, duly noted. She's duly lying. Mia said, just be honest with me, right? Gizelle said, I'm sorry. Whoa. Mia said, in her confessional, she said, whoa, I didn't see that coming. However, she said to Gizelle, I do believe that you're sorry. I do believe that you're genuine and you did not mean to come at me so abrupt. Oh, when will these castmates, co-workers learn? They stand up and hug it out. Back in the room with Robin and the rest of the girls, Robin said, I did the same. The first thing I said to Mia was, are you okay? She said, then I told her your credibility is low. Your message was confusing. Now, wait a minute. Robin, just the fact that, how do you ask somebody, are they okay regarding a cancer scare post and then turn right around and say your credibility is low? Those two just don't go together. So I do believe that their energy was different. It wasn't as harsh as Gizelle, but it wasn't all-encompassing nice. She continued to say, Wendy, you were the one that wanted to come over and act like Robin and Gizelle were the only ones who had questions. Robin, I get that you feel some type of way about what Wendy did as far as, singling you two out, but you also told Gizelle how horrible her approach was to Wendy. So you also saw the energy. Okay, so I don't know why you're acting as though what Wendy is saying as far as the energy that you guys brought to Mia was trash. Wendy said, Robin, you called her a liar. I never called her a liar. And then she said, stand in your truth. Robin is like, no, I have a problem. I have a problem. Wendy said, I know you have a problem. Wendy said it again, but with a little bit more emphasis on it, a little more sauce. She said, stand in your mother truth, or are you going to continue to back up from it? Wendy said, stand 10 toes down. Everything I say, I stand on it. Here go Robin standing up literally, talking about, I'm standing on it. Sit down. Okay, sit down. Nobody meant literally. Okay, it's figuratively. As she continues to yell how she's standing on it, she's now walking toward Wendy, who's still seated. Wendy says, "Sit down." Robin is bothered, okay, while Wendy is sitting there unbothered. She's like, "I don't know what you're doing, but what you not gonna do," Robin steadily yelling, "I'm standing on it, I'm standing on it." Wendy's like, "I don't know what you're doing, but I'm gonna tell you right now, Baltimore County ain't got nothing on me. Sit down in your chair, okay? Your chair is waiting for you." Then Robin says, "Oh my gosh, everybody. Wendy told me to sit down, so guess what? I'm sitting down. She is the mother and ruler of the world." What is going on, Robin? You sound defeated, okay? You sound defeated and deflated right now, and you're bothered. Here goes Sharice again, chiming in. Hey. I just want to know, how do we get past all of this? Ashley looked at Gizelle and Mia. "Did you guys have a good conversation?" Gizelle is like, "We did." Ashley said, "Mia, are you okay?" Mia said she's fine. Ashley said, "Okay, well, did the doctors rule out cancer?" Mia said, "Yes, I still have the lumps. I still have swollen lymph nodes. I still have to have them surgically removed." Mia said, "I'm not going to do it right now. They said I can wait, so I'm going to have the surgery in August." Robin goes right back to it. "Mia, I would love to get to know you better, but there are certain things that have me saying, am I getting the whole truth?" Wendy just laughs like, "This one here. Okay, girl." Robin, instead of telling her, "I'm wondering if I'm getting the whole truth," just ask her, "Am I getting the whole truth?" Right? Just ask the question. Robin then says to Mia, "Hey, you know what? My son has never met your son. They're about the same age. Your kids on spring break?" Mia's like, "Yes." She confirms that Gizelle kids are on a spring break. She confirms that Ashley, whose kids are babies, but the fact that they're on a spring break or whatever. So she's like, "Okay, because we're going to have a family fun day and inviting all the kids." Meanwhile, Wendy is sitting there. You know, she has 3 kids of her own, 2 boys and a little girl. Sharice was like, "Wait a minute, Wendy's not invited? Like, how you doing this?" And Robin was like, girl, no. Wendy said, "I wasn't invited." Mia is like, "Why not?" Robin's not looking at her, okay? She's not giving Wendy any eye contact. And Wendy was like, "It's all good." Wendy said, "See, for me, kids are where I draw the line, okay? And I think it's a character flaw when someone has something for kids and invites everyone and their children, but then a certain set of kids, they do not invite them. And then they do it in front of everybody, and everybody's a part of the same group." Because I'm like, my gosh, Robin, okay, is it really that serious to exclude her children? I guess. Robin said, "You can call me a horrible person. I don't care. Character flaw, whatever. I don't care." In her confessional, Robin said, "I am not about to open my mouth to ask her about her children's availability. Not one question. I am 1000% okay with not having Wendy a part of my life." I think I missed something. I really think I missed something. I mean, these women have gone through worse things last season. What happened this season? What is Robin holding on to so tough? I don't know. Ashley says, "So what's up with Candace? Why did she just leave out like that?" Gizelle had the nerve to say, "I think her stomach was hurting or something." Whoa, ho, wait a minute. Whoa, wait a minute now. Whoa. The ladies left, okay, parted ways. Producer caught up with Wendy and said, "Hey, Wendy, hey, Zen Wen, how are you with Mia?" She said, "Oh, I'm fine. Outside of me and Karen, we're the only ones that's trying to, lift her spirits or whatever." She said, "But she's lying anyway, so who cares? We all know she's lying." Well, Robin, I'm going to pull back a little bit on what you have been displaying as far as Wendy goes. Wendy is something else. I mean, wow. Okay. So you're a liar too. You're talking about Robin called Mia a liar. Girl, I'm calling you a liar. Okay. And the producers are proving that you're a liar. Ooh, sitting up in there in all your self-righteousness, honey, talking about who said what when you said the same thing. Anyway, after Wendy went on her admission, thought she was having a private conversation with the producers, honey, calling Mia a liar, the producer then whispered, "You're still mic'd." Wendy's so oblivious. "Oh, can we get unmiked, hun?" Yeah, now you can. Obviously, the producers must have known that Wendy was lying too, because why catch up with Wendy when she's still mic'd right before she's getting ready to leave and didn't say, "How are you concerning, not being invited? Are your feelings hurt or whatever?" She said, "How are you with Mia?" Ooh, they set you up, child, and you fell right in the trap. Well, it don't pay to be self-righteous. It just really don't. Boomerang effect. Woo, 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 pow. Hit you right in the face. So it's later that evening, okay? We are at Candace's house and she's on a Zoom call, okay? She's getting instructions on how to go through the procedure for, freezing her eggs or whatever, right? So she's getting ready to give herself a shot because Chris is at work, but she says she is cementing herself firmly on this journey. She can't change the date, okay? The doctor was firm and said, this is the date that you have to start the injection. She said, and she's emotional. I can only imagine, especially having just left a meeting with Gizelle, a setup. Okay, so she's getting ready to do the injection, right? The doctor's like, 1, 2, 3, go in. She's scared. She's like, oh my gosh, I'm scared. The doctor said, okay, take a breath. Let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, do it. She did it. They was like, how was it? The doctor was like, how was it? She was like, it didn't even hurt. But you know how we're always scared and anticipating the unknown, right? Good. I'm glad it didn't hurt. Now she can continue on the journey. If Chris is not available, it's okay, girl. Just go ahead and give yourself the injection. You guys are still in it together. In her confessional, she said, at a time where I should be my calmest, the most calm, I now have to focus on what Gizelle is saying, focus on Gizelle's accusations. And she knows what Candace is going through. Gizelle doesn't care about any of that. Gizelle cares about securing a storyline and securing that check for next season. Everybody is expendable. Everybody. She said, I got too comfortable with Gizelle motherfucking Bryant. And she sort of just shakes her head in disbelief. Yeah, again, only Robin holds that spot. Only. So next we see, it's the next day, we see Karen and Ray, okay, they're heading for a little bit of spa treatment, okay, getting a manicure. She said, don't you think this is good? He was like, yes, it's a beautiful day. I think this is exactly what we should be doing. She's like, are you being funny? He was like, very. She told the technician, I'll do the dip, but for Ray, I want him to have a manicure with a pink nail polish. He turned around. He was about to take a seat. He turned around like, wait, hold up. Whoa, wait a minute. Hold up. In her confessional, Karen said, I was sad to miss, Ashley's event. But honey, in a pandemic, when you have 102 fever, you have to go get checked out. But she was COVID free and just had the flu. They're having chit chat. She's like, so Ray, what did you do today? He's like, I did a little bit of work. And he looked at her. He's getting his hands, manicure. He's sitting. He got his fingers in a bowl. He looked at her. He said, you do this all the time? She's like, yeah, I take care of myself. He said, is that why you be looking so good? She said, yeah, but I do want to ask you a question, okay? And the question is, because I have been taking care of myself, are you jealous that other people might also, be paying me a little bit of attention? She said, are you insecure about me? He was honest. I like this little honest dynamic that they have. I like the communication. He said, well, every man is a little bit insecure when they have a beautiful woman. Yes, Ray, be honest. Don't front, I'm not tripping. I know what I got. No, tell the truth. He said, you feel like you have to make sure that other men are not attracted to your wife. He said, but you've always been attracted to other men. I mean, other men have been attracted to you. She said, now, wait a minute now. Hold on now, because in our marriage, you said that I can have eye candy. He said, yeah, you like to flirt. Yeah, he didn't deny it. She says, so are you okay with that? And he said, I'm good as long as candy is candy. It's interesting that they had this dynamic as a part of their agreement that she will have eye candy, and will he be okay with that? Because I'm like, well, what are the conditions around the eye candy? Is it just somebody that you see that you're like, oh, they are attractive, or, a celebrity, or, they're attractive, you have eyes, okay, so you can see. But what exactly requires an agreement when it comes to eye candy? Like, it seems like it's a little bit more than seeing somebody and you thinking in your head that they are attractive, right? What is that about? So next we see Ashley. She's out looking at houses with her brother. She said she put in 3 offers, okay, for homes, and each time the seller wanted cash offers, okay, and cash offers came through and they accepted other offers, okay, because Michael isn't willing to do that. Ashley said, he doesn't believe that that's a good financial decision. She said, and I agree, I don't either. She said he actually has 3 good reasons why he doesn't believe that that's the best option, and she couldn't name any of them. She said, something like about refinancing or something. I thought you said you don't agree and you have the reasons why you don't agree and you share the same reasons. So how come you can't name any of the reasons? So she's with the realtor, right? They're looking around the home. It's nice. And she said, Michael and I, we are buying this home sort of as a married couple. However, that can change because we are going through a separation, but Michael asked that that not be made public because that can impact our chances. And the realtor says, well, yeah, he did mention that to me in confidence. And rest assured, I've already spoken with the lender, the bank, everything is set. Ashley is surprised, right? She thought she was filling in the realtor with some information and the realtor is dropping tea on her. So the producer in her confessional, they said, are you a little bit surprised to find out that Michael has all this already set up and you didn't know about it? She said, yeah, for me to find out that, this is all contingent on our marital status is a little bit surprising to me. She clears her throat like, the producer said, does it make you feel, a little uncomfortable to know that Michael is already lying to you right out the gate about the finances? And I'm like, girl, did you think he was going to keep it 100 with you? You remember your divorce agreement, your marriage contract? He is serious about that money. She said, when I think about it, I do get upset, but you know what? I can't let it bog me down. I said, I bet you can't, girl, because you got bigger fish to fry. You got to think about the bigger picture, right? And if this thing is true, you guys are really getting a divorce, then the bigger picture is you focusing on being financially safe, secure, and settled. Hell, that would be my bigger picture. And for the first time, we actually see Ashley show sadness about the dissolution of her marriage. She's with her brother. Again, they're in the house. The realtor said, we're going to give you a minute. We'll circle back around. Ashley is like, what? This feels weird. I'm actually going to be living by myself. And her brother said, I get that it's going to be a little bit scary. She said, more than it's scary, it's, it's really like in living color, the fact that my marriage is over. And it's like it kind of settles in, and the finality of it all, I guess, is starting to become more real. And she starts to cry and her brother starts to embrace her, what have you. And I'm just like, wow, is this real? Huh. Well, you'll get through it, girl. You'll get through it. Next, we see Robin. She's in her new home. It looks nice. She said, we are finally in a new house, sort of getting back to where we were before, things went awry or what have you. And she said, the fact that we've been able to bounce back, this house is special to us. There's a greater appreciation for what they have, considering all that they've gone through. So she calls Juan in the room. They're going to go through some 20-year-old files or files that they had for the last 20 years. Prior to her having the bookcases built, she wants to go through everything. So they sit down and she brings up how they need to try to figure out what's going on with the wedding situation. So she shows him a text message that her mom sent her of their first wedding picture. And she said, her mom said, any chance for a repeat? Everybody like, so what's up? What are we doing? Are we doing this? What's going on? She said, but I didn't respond to my mom because I don't know what to say. But speaking of the wedding, I wanted to get your opinion to see if you believe that we should explore getting a prenup. His immediate and first response was, what the fuck? He said, no, I'm playing, but you know what? You got to do what you got to do. I make more money than you anyway. In her confessional, the producer said, is that accurate? Does he make more money than you? Robin's sipping on her lemonade or whatever. And she said, he didn't say that. I think he said he will make more money than me. They played the tape back. He said, I make more money than you. I didn't hear the word will. I didn't hear I heard I make. She said, well, that's not even what it's about. Back to Juan, right? She said it to him and he was like, so why didn't this come up years ago? She said, oh, so you mean like when we got married the first time? He said, yeah, why didn't you bring it up then? He said, I remember that day at the restaurant. She was like, huh? What? She said, yeah, uh-huh. In her confessional, she said, yeah, we had a prenup, but in the end, we didn't even need it because when we got divorced, we were broke. That's not the point. And you were broke because of you. Back to Juan, she said, I want to prevent any issues, okay, because you never know. And when we were going through our divorce, things got ugly. He's looking like he doesn't recollect. He said, how? She said it was a time period where you had somebody you were dating that probably made things a little more stressful. He said, Robin, stop. She said, no, no. And I don't want you to think that I'm talking about this now because I have businesses and stuff. And he said, that's exactly what it sounds like. He said, I'm very happy for everything that you have accomplished and how far you have come. I wouldn't come after that. She said, and I don't believe you would. He said, well, then what's your reasoning then? She said, you never know. He said, okay, let's get a piece of paper, write down everything. We'll identify this is yours and this is mine. Boom. She said, well, let me know, I want you to think on it and let me know if there's anything that you want to include. He's not entertaining the conversation anymore. Okay, he's getting up. He said, Robin, you know what? Bye. Just make sure that you get everything that you want in it. And she's like, really? He's walking away like, yep. Now, this went calm, but I have a feeling that he feels some type of way because he hit her with, why didn't you bring this up the first time around? And when I brought it to you, you were like, wait a minute, what? A prenup, right? So it does speak to a level of trust. I get it. I'm just saying. So next we see Wendy. Okay, she's getting a consultation because she's having some issues with her hair. Her hair is falling out in certain areas of her head. Looks like it's in the crown area. She said the back is fine, but the crown is starting to become too obvious to where she can no longer ignore it. She said she started noticing it after she had her baby girl, Cameron. So she says she feels like her body is breaking down from doing too much. Well, our bodies will speak to us. It will let us know. So the doctor explained to her, you know what, in times of stress, what happens is the stress actually pulls away from our hair follicles. In her confessional, she said all she knows is stress. All she knows is how to operate under stress. That's all that she's seen growing up with her mom, continuing to keep it moving, even if situations are stressful. I think that is a lot of us, especially if we come from a single parent home. Your mom has to, go to work, do what she got to do to take care of you. Things may not be all good, but in spite of that, you got to get up and you got to keep going, put one foot in front of you and keep going. So they start talking about treatment and the doctor lets her know, okay, we can start with minoxidil. Okay, very effective, very cheap, but you might get a little bit of facial hair. Wendy's not feeling it. Who would? But it looks like she's going to start there. So next we see Mia. She's meeting with Robin. Mia is dressed like Monday morning work day and Robin is dressed like Sunday Costco day. But she's comfortable and whatever. Just because Robin is dressed down, it does not mean that she can't take it up. So after they place an order, Robin said, you know what? In regards to what happened at Karen's party, I know that you probably did not leave feeling good about what happened in regards to me, Gizelle, and whoever, but I just want to make sure that you and I are good. Mia said, well, you're right. It was wild. And I'm not really as upset with the other ladies because none of them walked up to me and said, is this what cancer looks like? Speaking about Gizelle. Robin said, you're right. It's all in the delivery and Gizelle was wrong for that. And I felt bad for how it all went down because we really don't know what's going on. But what I want to know is what's really going on. So Mia just sort of sits there and Robin continues and says, well, Ashley asked you, are you cancer free? And you said yes. And Mia is like, Robin says, so your second post said no cancer for now, but I have to have lumps removed and biopsy. I have had the biopsy since that post. And Robin said, okay, so you had the biopsy on the lumps, but you haven't had them removed. And Mia said, yes, I had the lumps biopsied, okay, but I did not have them removed yet. And so Robin is like, okay, so, and then Mia says, well, if you're basing it on a timeline, so like how long was the post? About 2 weeks ago? And Robin said 2 or 3 weeks ago. And Mia is kind of talking in circles about the dates in the post, but is she really answering the question? Now here comes the what's going on. What's happening here? What's happening? Something's happening. Robin said, so you see where it's snowballing? Because once you open up that door on social media, then do you give them updates on everything? And Mia is like, no. And I'm thinking, so why even open the door? The waitress returns with their drinks, takes their order. After it's placed, Robin gets right back to it. So tell me about the lump. Mia is thrown off yet again. She said, well, I have a lump and it's not cancerous, but it does look like I have an autoimmune disorder. In her confessional, Robin said, I feel like the story just blew up in Mia's face, but I am grateful that it's not cancer. They move on, and Robin says, so did you catch wind of what happened with Candace? And Wendy says, I don't know, but I seen her storming out like she was 12. Girl, shut up. You don't even know what happened. Liar, liar, pants on fire. So Robin starts to share what Gizelle told her about Chris making her uncomfortable. Mia said, well, girl, I got something to add. Robin is like, what? Candace, girl, it's your turn. It's your turn. It's your turn. Oh, but Mia, rest assured, it's gonna come around. It's gonna come around. It's because nobody is left. It's only you. So that's next season, right? If it's not you next season, I'll be surprised. So she said at Spring Fling, Karen's party, out her peripheral, she can see Chris was just staring her down to where she was like, hello. She said she was very uncomfortable. They flash back to the party. Mia is dancing. Go, 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 go. Chris is not even looking at her at all. As loud as she is, he's not even looking in her direction. She said, I kept catching it. And they keep playing scenes from the party. And while she's loud and they doing the Soul Train dance line, Chris is still not looking at her. Oh, the boomerang effect. You gonna throw it out there. It's gonna pick up speed. It's gonna pick up power. Foo, foo. Pow! Just wait, Mia. You gonna get it. You gonna get it, girl. She said to Robin, so maybe there is some truth to it. Robin is eating the chips like, like she don't want to see it because there's nothing to see. Robin said, I like Chris and Candace. I really don't want to go there. Mia is having fun with it. Keep having fun. Keep having fun. I guess Mia is one of those types who think everybody want her, right? Delusion of grandeur. Next, we see Gizelle. She arrives at Karen's house, okay, for a midday meeting, snack, whatever. In her confessional, Gizelle said, me and the Grand Dame are always going to be Grand Daming, okay? Karen said, baby steps, we're trying to forge a new path, okay? She said, I'm excited about it. I don't trust her, but I'm excited about it. So far, so good. So Gizelle shares the tidbits of what happened at Ashley's dance class event. She started demonstrating some of the moves that they were doing in the class. So then Gizelle said, yeah, outside of that, we have a lot to discuss. And Karen said, yeah, Ashley and Mia did share with me that you and Candace had a moment. Karen said, and what I heard was very disturbing. And that basically there's a comfort zone that does not exist for you where Chris is concerned. And that Chris is misunderstanding and believes that Gizelle, you are more comfortable than what you actually are. Gizelle is like, correct. Karen said, Chris probably owes you an apology. And I'm like, Karen, you know who you're talking to, right? Okay, girl. Gizelle said, so that's my issue. How is it your issue? He didn't even know that he offended you. He didn't even know that he made you uncomfortable. You didn't say anything last season. You're talking about it this season. How is it your issue that you haven't received an apology? An apology for what, Gizelle? Nobody knows. This is news to everybody. Meanwhile, we see Chris and Candace out for lunch. So she's a little sad, getting a little teary-eyed while she shares with Chris that she spoke to the doctor and the doctor let her know that she's not responding as fast as expected. And the doctors are familiar because they do this process all the time. So they know how a person, if things were going okay, they know that a person would be responding or how they would be responding. In her confessional, she said, this is one of the first mom challenges that I'm having and I failed. And I'm like, aw, Candace, come on, don't look at it like that. I understand the fear that may come along with it, but don't beat yourself up and feel like a failure. Okay, you do have a lot going on. So maybe the body is just under a certain level of stress. It's not responding. I don't know, but I wouldn't want her to feel like she's a failure as a mom or attempting to be a mom. That's a lot for a woman to deal with. Chris assures her, he said, look, it's very early. Okay, so it's early in the process. Don't stress about it. She said, this stuff with Gizelle is really stressing me out. And unfortunately, stress can add to the fact of her not being able to produce enough eggs. She then asked him, how are you feeling about everything? He said at first he was angry, like, why would Gizelle want to make something out of nothing? Like, why are you doing this now? In their confessional, Chris said, I was very angry because I didn't understand why is Gizelle doing this, especially when I'm the one who always tries to make sure everyone is comfortable. He continued and said, you can do everything you believe is possible to make someone comfortable, but you don't know what that person has been through. You don't know what their past are, their triggers. He said, but the conversation turning into luring or setting up, the word usage is upsetting. At the lunch, he told Candace, and I didn't even ask to go to her room. I said, Gizelle, can we talk? And she said, yes, let's go to my room. And the plot is thickening. Candace said, so she suggested that you guys go to her room. He said 99% sure that that's how that went down. Back at Karen's house, Gizelle is saying, yeah. He said, can I talk to you? I'm like, sure. He said, okay, so can we go to your room? Karen is like, your room. Giselle's like, my room. Karen's like, okay. She said, I opened my door and I realized that my glam was not in there. Meanwhile, Chris is telling Candace, yeah, so we went to the room and there was no one in there. He said, I suggested that we leave the door open because I don't want anybody thinking anything else. She said, yeah, I don't need any rumors going on about that like me either. Meanwhile, Gizelle is telling Karen, I'm uncomfortable. I'm in a hotel room with a married man. And it's his word against mine as to what's happening in this room. Karen's looking at her like, wait, what? I'm still stuck on, if you felt this strongly about this, Gizelle, why is this coming up now? Why are you so triggered to whereas you're bringing this up now when this all stemmed from Chris contacting Ashley to say, basically, you thought it was lit where you guys was. You guys should come to the W, trying to promote and help rebrand the business where he's working. All of a sudden now you are triggered. You're uncomfortable. You're acting like you going around with a campaign telling everybody. Girl, Karen even caught it. She said, okay, wait a minute now. How do we go from a conversation in your room to your word against his? Like, you and Chris are friends. Gizelle said, me and Chris are friends. Karen said, did he touch you? Gizelle said, he did not touch me. Karen said, did he say anything that made you feel? And Gizelle said, the fact that it was happening. What I do remember saying to myself is, I don't feel good and I want him to leave. Karen said, did you say that to him? She said, I said, can you see if they're ready for me to come back out? And Karen said, well, did he do it? And Gizelle said, he immediately left. And Karen said, well, there you go. Back at the lunch with Candace, Chris said, maybe she was uncomfortable, but I know that I've never been anything but nice to her. And then he said, I mean, she's the one who references my peen every chance she gets. Child. They flash back all the way to 4 years ago when Gizelle continued to bring up his peen and the looks and the colorizations and things like that. It was her. I remember. And the producers do too. Karen told Gizelle, look, we got to be careful in this group, okay? Because I had the same type of situation with another husband. She said, and he gave me a hug and he squeezed me so tight to where my breasts felt like they touched my backbone. That's uncomfortable. That's touching. Karen said, I understand you feeling uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable and you're justified in your feelings. Okay, so let's go with the idea that Gizelle felt very uncomfortable. Okay, we don't want to downplay anybody, a woman saying, hey, this man made me feel uncomfortable, right? We cannot tell a woman that that is not true and the fact that you were not uncomfortable. I think it's because we, the viewers, know how Gizelle rolls, and something as serious as this in the friend group, that you waited until the new season, you waited until filming began, you waited until this situation happened with Ashley, which turned out to be innocent, to then say that, let me let you in on something. I'm very uncomfortable with him. I've been very uncomfortable with him, and it's been since the reunion last season. It's the oddity of the time. And again, because we know how you roll, Gizelle. But hey, if you're saying that you're uncomfortable, me being a woman, I'm going to say, okay. In her confessional, Karen said, she talked to her minister, she talked to Ray. They concluded that they believed the husband had a little bit too much to drink. There were other people around. She did not think that it warranted sounding the alarm. The producers asked Karen, can you share which husband it was? And Karen laughed and said, no. Karen told Gizelle, you could have said it without the mics and the cameras. You could have said it without bringing it to the entire group. Gizelle said, I didn't bring it to the group. Karen said, well, who brought it to the group? And Gizelle said, Robin Dixon. Girl, you brought it to the world. You brought it to the viewers. You brought it to the cameras. Talking about, I didn't bring it to the group. No, you didn't bring it to the group. You just brought it to national TV. And Karen said, and then Robin went to Mia with your story. How do you feel about that? Gizelle said, I actually haven't discussed that with Robin. And Karen is like, oh. In her confessional, the producers asked Karen, do you think that there might be a few cracks in the friendship between the two. Karen said, between the two of who? The producer's like, between Robin and Gizelle. And Karen said, of course there's cracks in the relationship. And she starts laughing. In all seriousness, she stops laughing and she says, yes, there are cracks between the green-eyed bandits, and we all see it. Back at lunch with Chris and Candace, they're getting their food served, and in the middle of that, guess who walks up? Robin. So Robin looks at Chris. She's like, stand up, come on, give me a hug, we not doing this. Being sarcastic, Candace says, be careful. Robin sits down. She's like, I guess we need to just get straight to it. And in her confessional, she said, you know what, this is very hard for me because I actually disagree with what Gizelle is saying. She said, I don't believe that Chris Bassett had any intention on being sneaky. So Robin looks at them and says, you know what? Look, let me just start from the top. Candace is like, okay. Chris, Ashley said that she thought it was weird that you would comment on one of her Instagram stories. Robin says, so let's make it clear. You didn't slide into her DMs, okay? You responded to a story. Chris said, right. And Robin said, that is a difference. Chris said, it's not like I did a search and, let me DM her. Robin continued and said, so I told Gizelle. And then Gizelle said, well, she recalled an experience in New Jersey. She said, and we were riding in a van, that night after the reunion, and Gizelle brought it up to me. She said, and I was like, okay, well, did anything happen? Did he say anything? Did he do anything? Because I don't think it's a big deal. Robin said, I told her, I think whatever you were saying, Chris, was out of concern for your wife. Chris was like, that's why, this is confusing because, every time you guys come around, it's cool. I don't even mind giving you hugs, but I do wait for you guys to initiate it. Robin trying to clean it up a little bit, okay? Talking about, well, I don't know if Gizelle brought it up to say, oh my gosh, I'm uncomfortable around him. Girl, come on, Robin. You're doing good. You're doing good. Don't backtrack. Anyway, Candace said, but that's how she brought it to me. Candace said, Gizelle sat me down and she was clutching her pearls and she was breathing heavy. Well, give me a minute. Okay. There's something I want to, share with you. She said Gizelle was acting like she was about to tell her that somebody just came and tried to snatch her drawers, which is the bullshit. Because at the spring kickoff, Karen's party, where was the discomfort? And they flash back to Gizelle. Hi, sir. She's all hugs and conversation and giggles and everything. Miss Uncomfortable. Robin said, yeah. I'm like, why talk about it now? She said, and I said that to her. She said, I'm like, I don't know if it was because of the Ashley story, like that triggered her, but I'm like, okay, where do we go from here? She said, how do we fix this? And Candace says she needs to walk it back. And I mean, she needs to walk it all the way back because at this point, Gizelle is dead to me. Robin is looking like, oh. Meanwhile, back at Karen's house, she asked Gizelle, so where do we go from here? Gizelle said, well, it's been 7 days and I thought by now I would hear from Candace. Girl, did you really? She said she thought Candace would contact her and say, you know what? I talked to Chris and he said he's sorry, but I'm going to stand on it. What he did to me made me feel completely uncomfortable. Karen is like, okay. She's going on, girl. She's building it up. She's like, it was wrong, okay? And if it wasn't wrong, I wouldn't have felt it in my gut. And the episode ends. Woo! Well, looks like we are off and running, okay? And between Mia, Wendy, Robin, Juan, Candace, and Chris, it's going to be a fun-filled season. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell button. And until next time, you all take care. Be blessed. Peace.